Hey, I'm Alan of Tez Calendar, and today I'm going to tell you about my Java EV mobile connector that I just got and why I'm so excited about it. But what makes this charger any different than, say, my Ford charger or my Tesla charger? Well, we're going to dive into it because this makes charging while camping an absolute game changer, and I can't wait to use it this weekend. I want to take a moment and tell you all about the Tez Calendar. I'm Alan of Tez Calendar. Obviously, that's in my name. What's so exciting about this paper calendar? Well, it is a really fun calendar that is put on basically by the fans of Tez Calendar and Tesla. We are in our 10th year, which lines up perfectly for America's 250th birthday. How exciting! So how does this happen? So every year we hold a photo contest on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, where people enter all their best photos, and then the top four are selected, and then the fans get to select the best photo of the week. And that photo gets to be a month in the calendar. So when you win not only a month in the calendar, but you win a free prize from one of our sponsors. For example, this one here is Sexy Buttons, an excellent product by Enhance Auto. Um, and then we go on and we sell this calendar. So 10 years ago, this was started because there were really no other options on the market if you wanted a Tesla calendar. So this calendar was started, and then it grew and grew and grew because other people, of course, wanted it as well. So then, not just for one person to profit, the proceeds went towards charity. So this is really a charity calendar. All the proceeds go to charity. I don't really make anything off of it. Usually I actually lose money on it, but I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being in the Tesla community, and I also enjoy giving back to the community in charitable causes. So support the Tez calendar. It's really awesome, and get yourself a beautiful wall calendar. All right, so it's time to unbox this thing. Being careful not to go too deep with the knife, of course, because we got electrical components in here. Okay, so it all comes in a nice Java case. Slide off that plastic wrap. And then we've got your NEMA 1450, your standard 120 volt wall outlet, and then your Java charger. This one being NACS. Very heavy duty, good quality. I'm also told the other Tesla plugins will go into it. So we're going to try that out just with that NEMA 1450. And yeah, they slide right in. So how cool. Let's dive into some of the other technical specs. So first off, you can register for an extended warranty. It comes with your standard 1 year, but you can extend it from 2 years to 50,000 miles or 4 years to 100,000 miles from the date of purchase. So this charger will last long with your car. This can run on from 100 to 240 volts AC. And one of the really cool things with this charger is it can charge on a 40 amp max on your NEMA 1450. That is safe as long as your outlet is rated for that. So be sure that it can handle that, but that can really help boost your charge rate higher than your standard 32 amp or 30 amp Ford charger. Your cable length is 5.5 meters, so you can get around the car. I think that's probably similar to your other chargers as well. And your weight is 2.6 kilograms. So one of the cool things is this chart. Let's see if I can get you to see that. Kind of shows you what this charger is capable of. Again, make sure your outlets are capable of putting out this much power continuously. For example, your NEMA 515 can support 15 amps on this or a 1.8 kilowatt charge rate. But do remember, not every outlet is rated for that. You got to make sure you have proper gauge wire going to that. I'm not a licensed electrician, but make sure you consult with one for this. Okay, so we're now plugged into the lightning and we are now charging. As you can see, it only took about 10 seconds to plug in, and then we followed the instructions. What you do is you follow these instructions and you connect through your Wi-Fi service, and then through that website or URL link that they send you to, you can adjust everything. So let me show you that now.
So as you can see here, we're at the URL link where you can actually adjust the amperage at which you're charging at. So adjust it to 30 amps. You can watch this increase. And I think this is a good time to note, you can actually do this in the Tesla app and in Tesla vehicles, but most other electric vehicles don't have that option. So this is a great option if you don't have that built in, like my Ford Lightning does not. I wish it did, but it doesn't.
Okay, so why is this a big deal? Well, the 40 amps is pretty obvious. If you have the back end hardware to support it, being able to charge at 40 amps rather than 32 or 30 has obvious benefits as you can charge faster. So why would you want to charge slower? Well, that's a great question. I'm going to show you a real world example here this weekend. We're going to leaving to go camping tomorrow. And on that campsite, we're going to want air conditioning and we're going to want to charge the Ford Lightning. We'll probably show up with under 10% to the campground, and we'll want to leave with 100% if that's possible. We'll be there for about 2 days, so there should be plenty of time to charge. But here's the deal. If I try to charge at 30 or 32 amps and then turn the air conditioner on to the camper, which is also about 30 amps, it's only a 50 amp pedestal. When that AC kicks on, try to kick on a microwave, anything else, it's going to pop the upstream breaker. And then I've got to sit there and I've got to wait for somebody from the campground to come flip it back on and then explain to them why this happened. Mind you, they're usually okay with it. They usually understand. But it's not ideal. And then we sit there for how long without power? How do I know this? I've actually had this happen. We were camping at a campground in Maine. They were perfectly okay with us to charge while we were camping. But I did that. I tried to charge on 30 amps while using the air conditioner, and we tripped the breaker. Thankfully, they came within about 30 minutes to turn that back on, but it was very much less than ideal. So what's the solution here? Well, I've got a few options. I could charge the truck on 110 while running the AC. I could, but the problem with that is that's really slow. I think it takes about 4, maybe 5 days to fully charge the Ford Lightning on just a 110 plug, and that's not ideal. It helps if that's the best you can do, but not great. What's the other thing I can do? I could plug the truck in, charge with either 32 or 30 amps. And the reason why I'm using 32 and 30, that is the max capability of these two chargers, but I often use the Ford 30 amp over the Tesla 32 amp just because it's 2 amps less and it's that much less taxing on sometimes old campground hardware. So that runs into exactly why we're doing what we're doing, but we'll get more into that. So the other option I can do is what we call daisy chaining. I could charge the truck and then plug the camper into the truck. That works pretty great, but the truck is software ran and sometimes weird things happen. We did that at the campground that I was talking about in Maine, and at about 4 a.m. it randomly shut off. So when it's hot outside and you are running the air conditioner and it's pretty loud in the camper and then it suddenly gets silent, you wake up. So I had to get up at 4 a.m., run out, turn the truck back on. It flashes the lights at the campground across the way from us. Again, not ideal. And it's doable, and it's really awesome that you can daisy chain. It allows you to do some off-grid camping and gives you some other options. But I would still pick that under what I'm about to explain. What I can do with this is I can plug the camper in to 30 amp service, and I can run that air conditioner. And then I can plug this Jawa charger into my NEMA 1450, and then I can do what I just showed you. I can bring that amperage down to 15, 20, whatever I feel is appropriate. I might start safe and slowly bump that up as I monitor. You can monitor the temperature of the pedestal. Usually you can feel by the touch when you're continuously charging, even at home or on the pedestal. It's a little bit warm. If it starts to get hot, that's when it becomes a problem. You can tell it's going to trip the breaker or cause other issues. So make sure that breaker is just a little bit warm, but not too warm. And, you can charge.
All right, now let's get hooked up and head up to the campground. We've got our campsite all set up. We're charging with the Jawa mobile connector that we're able to adjust. We're just charging down to
19 amps. Beautiful campsite here in Muskegon, Michigan. All right, it's the second day and we are now fully charged. We're going to leave later on today, but I want to walk you through our setup before we do. So we've got our Java charger going off our 50-foot, 50 amp extension cable, which is going into the power box. And we are also powering the camper. We have that plugged into the 30 amp plug-in. We've had the AC running all weekend, keeping the camper nice and cool, all while charging the truck. As you can see, we've been charging anywhere from 15 to 20 amps, depending on how much the AC is running and where I feel comfortable. The biggest thing is I don't want to pop the breaker. As you can see from these temperature tests, the breaker for the camper stayed plenty cool, and the breaker for the truck was getting a little warmer, up to 100, 132 degrees. Did a little research and it looks like you want to keep that temperature below 140 degrees. So I don't want to be touching right up at 140. I wanted to stay nice and below that. I've probably had charging sessions where I was warmer than that before, but we want to try to avoid that if we can.
Another really cool thing about this charger is even when you have absolutely no service, as we had at this campground, you could still go in to the app or the website that they give you, and you can control the charge rate and monitor the progress it's made over the time. So as you can see, I went through the process and I am live with no service, looking at the live data, charging at 19 amps, and I can change that to be higher amperage or lower amperage or whatever makes sense given the situation, as I explained before.
So why did I pick 15 to 20 amps to charge at? Some of those numbers that I picked were kind of arbitrary. And the real reason being, we're here for 2 days, and we only have 131 kilowatt hours that we need to put in the truck. We did some driving around, so maybe a little bit more overall. But the gist is we had more than enough time to charge. So I wanted to make sure I used the lowest amperage possible to tax the service the least amount possible, all while getting the charge that we need. Guys, listen to me. Take 2 years of lessons learned and just buy one of these if you're going to try to charge while you're camping. Um, it's only like $300. You can get 5% off with my discount code. And I'm not only pushing this because I'm an affiliate. I'm pushing it because I'm so happy with this product. It's got a nice heavy duty cable. You don't have to have any cell service or anything else to be able to adjust it all the way down from 1 amp up to 40 amps. Charging as slow or fast as you possibly need. I do want to note this isn't the only option on the market, but it might just be the most affordable. I know Grizzly's got some products that you can adjust and vary the charge amperage as well. There's probably other products out there, but for the cost, under $300, you can have this with you and have stress-free charging wherever you go.